IMT Innovation is a Swiss company, and we are going to present you a new concept in ventilation.
We are developing a ventilator that is going to be versatile. So in this middle sector, we are sitting with an opportunity. Long-term care is we want to develop a ventilator that covers and effectively performs like a non-invasive ventilator, but can give you the same performance as a high-end ventilator. And so we are offering an opportunity that you can take control of your own ventilation destiny. And our solution for you is the Box project.
And you can become the best ventilator manufacturer, as we explained. And how we do that and why we do that, we show you now. And the thing is, this opportunity is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Nobody has ever offered this opportunity to somebody, that you can license a technology, a high-tech ventilator, a life support device, which every country needs, and that you can manufacture it locally and become completely independent from other foreign manufacturers. So that's the idea.
We are offering a unique opportunity with our new project, the Box Ventilator project. And as Harri also said, IMT has been a designer of many ventilators. We've been a manufacturer of a ventilator range, and we are now going back to our roots, where we like to do design and development of high-end technology. And as Harri said again, IMT engineering and IMT analytics and IMT innovations has more than 35 years of experience working with many manufacturers, getting many ideas, researching new concepts, and doing new things. And if we look at these range of products in front of us, these products have been on the market for more than 10 years. So and technology hasn't changed much. So the challenges in the market today for governments, for hospitals, for administrators, for everybody, is the cost of having patients sitting in an ICU on a very high-end ICU ventilator. And there are countries around the world, like Taiwan, for instance, I can mention. They have a very regulated system. You go into ICU for 10 to 14 days maximum. If you're still on a ventilator, you become a ventilator-dependent patient. You move to the high care ward, where they will treat your symptoms and still keep you on a ventilator. If they cannot liberate you on a ventilator, you go to a respiratory care ward, or RCW, or in the USA, they call it the LTAC, long-term acute care ventilation treatment. And that can be in any format it could be in a hospital, it could be in a ward, it could be in a house, it could be in another building, it could be at home. And you keep on being ventilated until somebody can one day relegate you off the ventilator. So these are the things that happen, complex ventilators. Ventilator, and many companies today are looking at, and Harri, thank you for changing the slide for me as well. We, with our Box project, we are looking at the big picture, and we are developing a ventilator that is going to be versatile. And as I just said to you, if you look at this picture, the pinnacle of the pyramid, you have the high competitive ventilators, ICU ventilators, very competitive devices, low margins. Everybody is fighting for a piece of the pie. At the bottom of the pyramid, we have the home care ventilators for patients that are, chronic or sometimes acute ventilator users. People need CPAP or BiPAP or sleep apnea, or even maybe long-term care ventilation, where you have a very simple device that does not do everything we require for long-term care ventilated patients. So in this middle sector, we are sitting with an opportunity, long-term care. As we look at the market today, there is not many dedicated long-term care ventilators. And of those sectors, this is one of the fastest growing areas in ventilation, is the long-term care, the interim step between ICU and home care. So we can look at this, and what we are doing as IMT with the Box device is we want to develop a ventilator that covers and effectively performs like a non-invasive ventilator, but can give you the same performance as a high-end ventilator. And we'll talk about this Harri will speak about this in a few minutes. So the further challenges that people are facing and countries are facing, as you know, and governments are facing, and distribution partners are facing is a few things. Number one, and what I mentioned is most ventilators are manufactured in 2 or 3 parts of the world today. You have the USA base of manufacturers, you have the European base of manufacturers, and there is a base of manufacturers in China. And with these geopolitical trends, everybody has a slight problem. If we start on the left, if we look at the USA, Make America Great Again. When we had a pandemic, America withheld all their ventilators for their own use. You could not get an American ventilator until they had satisfied their supply. If we looked at Asia, if we look at the last pandemic with COVID, Asia was the real last part of the world to really kick off their pandemic response. And by the time Asia started looking at their pandemic response, all the ventilators were sold or accounted for from every manufacturer in Europe, every manufacturer in the USA, and every manufacturer in China. Secondly, what is happening now because of this situation, we talked about globalization for many years. I think after and during COVID, globalization went out the window and people started looking at for themselves. So deglobalization, everybody wanted to be able to control their own destiny. So there's many movements around the world that looked at many things. So their own reliance on regulatory affairs of other countries. So today, as you all know, everybody leans on 2 regulatory systems, the European regulatory system, CE, as well as the US regulatory system, FDA. But outside of this, there are many countries like Brazil, like Russia, like India, China, Japan, Brazil. These countries are starting to, some of them have had, and some of them are starting their own regulatory affairs departments and are actually taking back control of their own destiny in terms of regulatory acceptance and regulatory compliance for devices that are either brought from outside of the country into them or are developed within their country. So there's an opportunity there. And then, as we look at today with the World Health Organization, there's a lot of opportunities. What you're seeing now is within this market, Harri is just one of 2 of many forecasts in terms of ventilation growth. And if we look at them just in general, they are both forecasting a growth of between 9 and 10+% in requirements for ICU ventilators, just general ventilation market size, and it's a growing market. And this was a forecast done a couple of years ago, and we all know that, and everybody knows that a lot of ventilators were sold during COVID. But those ventilators were either the wrong vents, not very good vents, and the market still had a large installed base of ventilators. And what's happening today, as we come out of this and the world is starting to recover from the financial aspects of COVID, we are now looking at how do we grow our ventilator business. Governments are looking at how do we take control of our own business. So we are offering an opportunity that you can take control of your own ventilation destiny. And our solution for you is the Box project. So whatever it is, we've spoken to many of you we've spoken to before. We've shared with you some ideas. So the reason of this actual call is to give you a further update of, we've been talking with many of you for the last year, during the course of the last year. We have moved on a year, and we are now a year closer to fulfilling this project. And we want to share with you how this solution is going to look, how much further we've gone in the development. And, one of the big questions is everybody was asking, can you guarantee a timeline? And we are pretty sure we are going to guarantee a timeline and give you a solution. And, I'll pass it on to Harri to give you a bit more of the technical background, because he's acutely working with our engineering and development team to get this off the ground. So Harri, can you please give us some insight into the background of this vent?
Yes, thank you, Robert, for the explanation of the current market situation and the trends. So yeah, as maybe some of you know, the solution we are working on, the new ventilator development, is it will be a high-tech machine, and you will be able to acquire that technology. That's completely unusual. You have not seen that in the market. So you will be able to acquire a high-tech ventilator, and then you get the full ownership of the IP. So additionally, we offer then local manufacturing setup. So we will install a manufacturing line in your country so that you're able to produce this ventilator very efficiently. And also we give you, of course, support for the first years. You can benefit from our global marketing, which we will do for the box ventilator, and so on. So you will not be alone. We will guide you through the process. And we have so many experience doing this in the ventilation field. So we have a lot of experts who can really assist you then. Now, coming to the features, I mean, that's like Robert said, many features have been implemented in ventilation but not used. So sometimes it's way too much. It's so difficult to operate a ventilator, as you know. And ideally, we have one mode, right? And one button. You press the button, and then the ventilator is determining the lung situation of the patient by itself and doing a full automatic ventilation. That's still our goal, where we want to go to. But of course, nowadays you have the regulatory authorities where they expect some that we lean on predicate devices. So we have to, in the first round, use the same similar modes that's already existing. But the focus is, of course, long-term care and intermediate care. And why? Because these are the most challenging patients to ventilate, as you know. So to wean a patient who is spontaneously breathing at a ventilator, this is much more difficult than to a ventilator patient which is sedated in an ICU. But of course, you can use the ventilator as well in the ICU. But the focus is long-term care, intermediate care, and offer there where the big market is a great machine, a very affordable machine. So non-invasive and invasive, everybody's saying that. Everybody, you should know that we have done so many comparisons here in-house. We have ventilators from a lot of manufacturers, and we can really determine what is a good non-invasive ventilator. And the V60 was one of the best non-invasive ventilators. It has some other issues, which forces now Philips to withdraw the unit from the market. But non-invasive means quite a lot in terms of synchrony and leak compensation, as you know. So it's not so easy to do. Single and double limb, that's also important, that you can use a single limb without anything, just that one tube. And you can also have a double limb if you want to use that in your facility. Pediatric to adult, that's okay, and advanced synchrony. A lot of ventilator manufacturers also mention the synchrony, but this is also very difficult to do, and you need to have a good technology platform, very fast sensors, a lot of computing power, and then you can do much better synchrony. But that's where we are going to. And automation is still a big topic. Hamilton has introduced ASV years ago. We came with our AVM, adaptive ventilation mode, in Bella Vista. There is still much more potential to make this better. Automation is still not, it's okay for certain kind of lung pathologies, but not for every lung. So anyway, cost of goods at the end, $3,000 per device. I mean, this is so an attractive price that you can really see then when you produce it locally, how you can make quite a good profit, gross profit, when you sell it locally. So these are some main features and why you should take this box ventilator for your country. I mean, this is a good question, but we have said, look, this machine will outperform any other ventilator, and this is a very, very bold statement. And I think if you know us, the people who know us, they know that we can do it. the people who don't know us think maybe okay, this is a too bold statement. We will demonstrate that also with our new lung simulator we just introduced into the market, but we will do objective comparison from any ventilators you bring us with the box, and you will see that we outperform on the ventilation performance. That means synchrony, automation, high flow oxygen therapy, all these special performance indicators which are essential that a patient will accept the ventilator, especially in long-term care institutions. It will be a high-tech machine. High-tech means we have put in a 10-fold more powerful microcontroller system than the Bella Vista has for very attractive margins for you. We'll give you an example of a business case, but a $3,000 unit cost landing price in your country, and then you sell it to long-term care institutions or even ICUs, you know what the price in your country is, and you can determine now the gross profit. So that's important for us that you have a product, that you get a product which is very powerful on one side, but very attractive on the business as well. Good. We have talked about the manufacturing setup. So we are going to set up by mid of this year a demo manufacturing line in our office in Switzerland. So everybody who visits us, we can then show you the manufacturing setup. It will be similar to that picture. Okay, there is a line which is about 10 meters long, half a meter wide, and with some shelves at the end. But the production capacity for you with a few people, you need maybe 3 to 4 people, maybe 5. You can do 200 ventilators a month with this production line. If you don't need so many, you employ just one guy or 2 guys, and they maybe 50 or 100 a month. So this is a one-piece. We call it a one-piece production line, based on the Toyota concept. Toyota introduced that years ago. So it's very efficient. And of course, we have automated testing with our test equipment, which we are selling since decades. So it's a full automatic testing at the end. And we do that production line. This will be included in the licensing you buy from us. And we are going to install that production line locally at your site with our team. Let's talk about the timeline. I mean, Robert said that we are working now since a while on this project, and we hold it under the umbrella. So we have not announced it to the public yet. This is the first time, the first day where we start now announcing it to the public. We have been working since 1.5 years now on this project. We can now present you a machine, the first iteration machine, we call it, where you can play around and see how it's working. And therefore, the timing is now right to go public with this project and announce it to everybody. And therefore, the timeline is now to finish the project is by mid of next year. By mid of next year, you will be able to have the production line set up and to start register the ventilator in your country. That's important to know for you. You will get, like Robert explained, all the deliverables, the documentation or the technical files according to FDA and according to the CE MDR requirements. So our goal is to have everything ready, the whole validation ready of the ventilator by mid of next year to Q3 next year. So that's quite close, as you know. So it's 1.5 years to go, and we can show you when you visit us, for instance, the ventilator, how it looks and how it's performing. Now I hand over to Robert for the business model, how you can be a licensee, how you can benefit from this project, and how you can come in contact to us. So Robert, can you take over?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. So, you know, as Harri said, this is the first time we're really going public with this information. We have spoken to some of you. So some people already have an NDA signed with us, who might have already had some more information from us at this time. I would just say anybody else who's interested to talk in more detail to us, we will happily sign an NDA to protect yourselves and ourselves, and we can share more information because, as Harri said, we already got a working device. So there's lots of information that we can show people and share with you. But anyway, to get to the licensing, so the technology license, and this, we've spoken to people, and the very simple comment is, this sounds too good to be true. And maybe it is, but it's not. With a license that you will purchase for your country, and let's look at it like this, it's an exclusive one-off license per country. We don't intend to sell other licenses. I know many of you most people have been distribution partners of many manufacturers before. And today you're a distribution partner with a big contract. Tomorrow you're not a distribution partner with no contract. So these things change. But when you buy a license, you own the access to this product. We cannot take it away from you. And it's from that very simple fact, as Harri said earlier, when you become the licensee and we go through our phases, we pass you the documentation. You own the documentation. You can print it out, put it in your file, put it in your safe. You have everything that we've done in terms of design. You'll have the codes, the software codes. You'll have the bill of materials. You have the technical drawings. You have everything. So the only part that you have to do is then produce the ventilator and sell it. So with your licenses, as it says here, you get the exclusive right to sell, market, and manufacture your box for the specific territory that we have agreed to the license. We give you complete documentation. So this means you get the complete technical file. And you'll see in the next slide, how we work with you. So our concept is that once you've got the complete technical file, that means we do all the biocompatibility testing. We do all the radiation testing. We do all the testing is done by external test houses. You get the full certification. So that is the full complete regulatory documents. And depending where you are and what you need, we will fill in terms of if you need the FDA requirements, they have some certain documents you need, or the CE MDR. We'll work with you to get what you need. Then the next part is the supply chain. You don't just own the documents. We will then support you, and we work with currently to develop the ventilator. We have set up a supply chain to supply an existing set of components. That supply chain gets passed on to you with the costings that we have, and we'll talk about that in more detail. Our next steps, as we can see here, we're making a further announcement at Arab Health. Our website is going public next week, and from now on in, we'll be delivering on a monthly basis a call like this, and we will typically break up the call in two levels. We will have licensee calls with people who have NDAs, so we can give them much more in-depth feedback. And then we'll have calls for the general public just to give them a further update on where we are and what we are doing.
As Robert said, we are going to announce the whole project on our website, which is imtinnovations.com.